The lion, where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. There's a lion, where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now, or forever hold your peace.
With the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast.
Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Community Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brain with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven, somewhere up in the sky by and by, to enjoy some of the finer things of this life, proud of reaching the great beyond. If we would only patronize each other in business and do what all other self-loving people have done and are doing.
Singles, while they're asked for the copies of the CWOD and Economic Power Pack broadcasts. That's the new My Material and Fashions, the Cultural Shock Shop at 605.5 East Hill Avenue.
For the next 5 minutes, you'll be listening to the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast with Brother Rhymes. This broadcast will air Monday through Friday from 8 to 8:05 a.m. in the morning. And now, here's Brother Rhymes with the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast.
Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Community Economic Power Pack broadcast. This morning, brothers and sisters, we want to go direct into the message. Brothers and sisters, you know, I don't quite understand it, but then again, I guess I do. Someone came to me and said, Brother Ryan, the preacher's talking about you down in the pastures. Therefore, I think I need to address that. Brothers and sisters, I want to say to you, to all openly, to lay members, the ones of you who come to me and talk to me, it seems to be very little opposition between what I speak and your belief. So we thank you for the support that you give me. You know, Jesus told the preachers of wickedness, that was the first man that I ever see through the scriptures to criticize the preachers. The first thing Jesus did was criticize the wicked preachers. There was a wicked preacher that came to Jesus, said, if you be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. And that was a preacher of wickedness. And Jesus dealt with him. He said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. That's what Jesus fought him with. My grandmother told me, too, that man shall not live by bread alone. So she told me, young man, get your job and go to work. And I received that message into my mind. Brothers and sisters, today, I don't know whether we should call them punk preachers or what. I don't know, brothers and sisters, but I'm going to say this, and if I make you mad, I'm sorry about that, and because this needs to be said. When I look on TV, I see preachers, many of them, and I guess I'm going to do some more criticizing this morning. They don't see the unemployment in the African-American community, but they talk about Jesus. They don't see the crime that in our community, but they keep on talking about Jesus. Many people don't see that everybody is creating businesses and jobs for their people, Caucasian, Koreans, everybody is creating jobs that they may get our monies and our dollars. But we keep on talking about Jesus, and Jesus is more worthy than anything that man can produce on the planet. TV preachers, it seems like we're in two worlds. The preachers, we don't see the crime and the small percentage of black elected officials, and the preachers on TV can't see that we have even here in Valdosta, 66 for the students in the Valdosta school system is black, but we only have Less than 9% of the educators are black. But preachers, I mean, that don't concern the common preacher today. We just want to, you know. But I come to tell you, brothers and sisters, that even this percentage of teachers, and I'm not ashamed of this, and by the way, brothers and sisters, I'm not a hard man to find the challenge here in Valdosta or discuss the issues with. So there's no need of getting up in front of a lot of people to criticize me. Come the way I am. I'm not running away from you, brothers and sisters. I love you, and if I love you, I'm going to give you the truth, just like I try to give everybody, and I don't try to deviate from the truth just because you are who you are. I do like Jesus, I try to do. Jesus didn't beat around the bush. Jesus went straight to the core, and that's what I want to do, brothers and sisters. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to say to you that I sat back and I watched the Congressional Black Caucus, and all those people that they were talking, they mentioned the name of Jesus, and they talked about the Bible. Eva Clayton, a representative from North Carolina, a female, was talking about us as a people. She was not ashamed to do it. I'm talking about up there in the high seat of Congress. Charles Ranger, a representative from New York, he's a man, standing up for some of the same principles that your little brother is doing here in Valdosta. Cleo Fields, a Democrat from Louisiana, a male, speaking the same message. Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat from Texas, female. Maxine Waters, Democrat, California. John Conyers, a Democrat from Michigan. Harold Ford, Democrat, Tennessee. Bobby Scott, Virginia, Democrat. Jesse Jackson Jr., Democrat from Illinois. Carrie Meek, from Democrat from Florida. Oh, see what we need to do as a people. So brothers, come on with you. Come on, get down with you, get down. This is not a Brother Ryan thing. This is a truth thing. And brothers and sisters, we had another leader in our community who was, I think he was labeled among the top 20 leaders in this nation. And he talked about the bloodsuckers of the poor. And brothers and sisters, you have to agree with me in truth, if you want the truth, brothers and sisters, is that we must learn how to do. And that's why I don't have to get on here and pray over the radio. I don't see where I have to before a broadcast come on. I pray at home or I pray on my way here. So these little 5 minutes that I'm paying for or barely can get money for, I'm talking to something that will get our children up in the brain. Because too long, brothers and sisters, too long, we have not done this. And a lot of people say, Brother Ryan, even on Sunday morning, you be out there talking about how to make $1. Well, brothers and sisters, because we don't have dollars, that's what's making our children holler. But this brother came to me, and I don't care. You don't have to love me, radio friends. Preachers and pastors, I don't care. I mean, really, I really don't. You can just criticize. I can take anything you put on me. It didn't start here. 1981, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, San Antonio, Texas. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been taking it before political leaders and before the government for speaking the truth to my people. It don't bother me what you say about me, but and I don't hide. You know where to find me. So if you got something to say to me, you don't have to, brother, get up before 100 people. Just come on and talk to me. Because if I got something, I'm going to come to you. But if we can sit back and keep on talking and jabbing about white people don't do this and white people, a lot of people get scared. They don't want me to even say that word, white folks. A lot of white people, Caucasian people who love Jesus, they tell me about it. They know what we got to do to help each other. Yes, sir, brother, they know too. But it seems like we just scared. But I want to say this to you. I'm going to leave this with you. My time is up. I want to leave this with you, brothers and sisters. Lay members, members of the churches, always remember this. God did not give you the spirit of fear. Do you hear what I said about Austin? God did not give you the spirit of fear. And if some leader, I don't care who he is, brothers and sisters, you might just need to stand up and let people know how you feel. Because from what I hear from you, you agree with the content of my message. And brothers and sisters, until next time, I just want to say to all of you, I talk like I do because I love you. And it's not just me. Listen to the Congress. Listen to the Congressional Black Caucus, and you will see what's going on. It's the same cotton-picking thing because we all tied together as one. Until next time, we out of here. Friends and listeners, and welcome to another Community Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brains with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven, so up in the sky by and by, to enjoy some of the finer things of this life, if we would only learn how to create businesses and patronize each other in business, as all other self-loving people have done and are doing. This morning we want to talk about with or without you, truth keeps marching on. Regardless of how hard the negative fruits of the flesh fight against us, through hearsays, strife, envy, and all of these negatives, brothers and sisters, truth will continue. Brothers and sisters, it matters not. It's just like tiny drops of water falling, but they evaporate before they touches truth, because truth will stand as long as the world stands, and then some. Now, brothers and sisters, never be fearful to stand up beside truth. Don't be afraid to stand up beside truth. Brothers and sisters, I had a Caucasian, beautiful Caucasian sister to come by who was digging in the African-American community to get our history to share with the world this morning. And brother, this is just a prelude. I'm going to do the whole story on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. So we're going to listen to just a little bit of this young lady, but Sunday, please tune in at 10 o'clock. Okay,
Beth.
Beth?
Hicks.
Hicks. Okay, Hicks. Okay. Beth Hicks. And where are you from? What you all about? What you want? What are you trying to... I met you at the Slave Monument, right?
That's right. And I teach at Valdosta State University, and I'm doing a local history project. And we really need to talk with elders who were raised in Southside and who were born between the years of 1920 and 1940. We're interested in knowing more about the businesses, the African-American businesses that they remember and that they frequented when they were here in Southside between the years of, say, 1940 to 1960. That's what this project is about. Very little of the history of African Americans in Valdosta has been recorded, and this is a chance now for people to participate in that. This is an oral history project, which means we're interested in living history, and we consider the elders in this community cultural treasures. So I'm interested in talking with people here and learning more about the history of the community of Southside.
Okay, what organization do you represent, or what makes you do this? What pushes you? What's the driving force behind you?
Well, I don't think an organization makes me do it. I like people. I like to learn from older people about survival, what it means to survive and thrive in hard times. So I guess that's what draws me to the project. Joe Brown, I would say, at Valdosta State got me interested in doing this project. And I enjoy being outside the university and talking to real people, working people. So I really do it for that. I am a cultural anthropologist, so I'm interested in learning about communities and people who build them.
Okay, now, you have given me a list here. And we were together at the Slave Monument. She came to the Memorial Day, right?
That's right.
And that was real good. And but this list that you got businesses by owners. Now, how many these are all black businesses?
Yes, they are.
And how many do we have here?
Well, now this is a kind of a distilled down list of only 40 black businesses, and these are from all over town, not just Southside, but listed in the city directories as black-owned businesses between 1930 and 1951. And some of the names on this list are P.M. Bell, who had the 5 Points Barber Shop, Wilkins Brown, who is a grocer on Chandler, James and George Scott, who were some of the oldest funeral home directors in town, G.B. Stevens, of course, who still has a funeral home here in town. And I'm interested in talking with people who are their relatives, if these people are not still around.
Brothers and sisters, that's just a small list. She have a long list, and we don't have time this morning. But please tune in Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, because what we want to do, we want to make the connection. We want the relatives of these people who was pioneers in the businesses and here in Valdosta to give us input as they compile this list for our community. A lot of our history have been lost. Brothers and sisters, when you do that, and then in addition to Sunday morning at 10, you could then Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we're going to try to get her out here on the program to say a little bit more that we can make the connection. Now, brothers and sisters, don't forget, Saturday on I-75, exit 4, on Highway 84, rather, that's Saturday, 10 o'clock, we have a session. If you want to make $2,000 a month, call this brother, 242-3254. He's out of Atlanta, and if you can use an extra $2,000 a month, then call that number. He's out of Atlanta, He's got a seminar going out there at the Ramada Inn. That's the Ramada Inn Saturday. The first session is 10. The second one is at 1 o'clock. Brothers and sisters, what I want to do is to get us to become aware of what's going on in our communities. And this is my whole intent. And I thank God for this beautiful sister. We also had Sister G.B.R. also, who will be on that broadcast, our broadcast Sunday morning at 10. That's the CWD broadcast. Brothers and sisters, don't miss it. We're just here trying to give you the truth. We get criticized for that sometimes, but we don't care about that. We can take all the criticism. Until next time, brothers and sisters, our time is up. We say bye-bye. We gone. Greetings, radio friends and listeners. This is the Power Pack broadcast. We're not going to go to our normal introduction, brothers and sisters, because we got to address what happened Sunday. Sunday morning, our message, at 10 o'clock, our message was Jailhouse Rock. And we talked about the prison system as we always do, and we talk about the problem that confront African-American people in particular. But one minister followed me Sunday afternoon, brothers and sisters, and I got some stuff. A sister called me and told me about that brother, that beautiful brother that came on after me, whom I love. I love all the ministers of God, and I love all of God's people, whether you're, regardless of what your denomination may be. And I could get into my first mind was she talked to me last night, and I appreciate all of my radio listeners who tune in to all broadcasts on this station. But I'd like to say to you, brothers and sisters, I was going to go tip for tap on what was said in response to what I said, but I know you, my radio listeners, you don't want me arguing or downing my brother, and we're not going to do that. We're not going to even get into that. So I just want to say to you, we love you. To the brother that felt it necessary to criticize the content of my Sunday messages, I appreciate your criticism. And we're not even going to mention that. We're just going to press on. I'm not going to lower myself. And my radio listeners, they always say, Brother RHYNES, don't even bow to that type of, they're doing that to get you sidetracked. Brothers and sisters, we got to stay on time because time is winding down for our people. So I just want to say to the brother who felt it necessary to criticize me and say that Christians should not be concerned about certain things and that I may blaspheme against the Holy Ghost and that I may say that Jesus is just a prophet. Well, brothers and sisters, I just want to say to you, believe like you want to. If you believe that a turkey is Jesus, that's your prerogative. My thing, whether I go to heaven or hell, I will go by what I choose. God gave Adam a choice, and he gave him a chance. Jesus gave Judas a choice, and he gave him a chance. And brothers and sisters, I say to you, I too give you a choice, and I say to you, have a chance. You have a chance to love your brother or criticize and tear him down. That's not my program. When you hear me speak on this radio, what I try to do is give a balanced diet. But as I said before, with America having so many of our young boys in prison, I love the ones who are in prisons. I love my people as all other people love theirs. And I hate to see our children going into prison because we don't have jobs for our children. I dislike the proportion of black teachers that they got in the Valdosta High School. And it does not matter to me what big-time preachers say in this community. The truth is the truth. And I just want to close by saying this to all gainsayers, etc., whatever you may say. All I want to do is to speak the truth. Once I've spoken that truth, there's one thing about truth to all of you radio listeners. You may call me when you hear criticism about me. Some of you in your churches tell me that your pastors talk about me on Sunday mornings. You can tell me, but I don't really need to hear it. But if you want to call me and tell me what your pastor said, that's okay. It don't matter to me. All I know, and I found this out in my life, is that truth don't need no backup, no substantiation, no props, no shoes on, for truth stands by itself. And that's why it does not matter to me. In truth, it does not matter to me. Once I've given that truth stands alone. If I say that 66% of the student population in Valdosta High School are black or African American, then if that's the truth, you can say what you want. The truth speaks for itself. If I say that blacks in Valdosta don't have that many businesses, therefore our children don't have money to buy the things that they need from the department stores as other people's children do, then brothers and sisters, you may challenge me on that, but the truth is the truth. You may not like what I say because it may be different from what you speak in your church, but brother, that has nothing to do with me changing my message. And when it go out into the minds of people with a fertile brain, that truth gonna lay on fertile ground, and that fertile ground will germinate and it will bring forth a seed, and they will get up off their backside and do something for themselves as all other people have done and are doing. Brothers and sisters, to me it's not a complicated thing, it's very simple. So I just want to close again, but my time is up, but I just want to say to you, I hate to use this term, but it seems like I got to do it in this area. Come on with the come on, get down with the get down. I'm going to be here for a little while. So until next time, to all my radio listeners, I thank you for keeping me sharp on what's going on in the community. And I thank the lay members who sit in their churches to come back and tell the pastor talking about me. But Brother Talk don't do anything for me, but just give me a little bit more fuel on the fire to make the fire burn greater for you, because we love you. Bye-bye, we go. Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Community Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brain with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven somewhere up in the sky by and by to enjoy some of the finer things of life prior to reaching the great beyond. Brothers and sisters, this morning we want to say to you, we proclaim to the world that if we want our young people to respect us, then all of us must get a change of mind. We must get a change of mind. As you know, we had a float in Valdosta, Georgia, for 1995, Valdosta City Parade, and Shirley's Fashions won first place for original floats. That was December 18th, 1995, a part of history. And if Shirley's Fashion won, then why don't we go and patronize her? One African-American business in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. She had many dresses that was on that float came from Shirley's Fashions. So why not support your own? She have clothing that you can't get anywhere else. That's Shirley's Fashion. Why let African-American businesses close here in Valdosta? Because we, as a people, fail to patronize our own people. Brothers and sisters, I believe it's time for us to stop that. And let us beget a new mind. Many leaders in our community, you know, they disagree with the message that I give. But I want to say to you, this world, young children, think with your little brother. This world exists because God the Father took time out, went to work, and built it for himself. And by building it for himself, he had something to pass on to his children and coming generations. Now, bishops may criticize me for talking to you like that. Lay members may criticize me for talking like that, but deep, deep down in your heart, you know that what I speak is the truth. You know that. Even little children know that the content of this message is true. God did not tell Adam to just go to church and sit down and blind the masses of the people, or wait for somebody else to build his house for himself and his family. You know God didn't tell Abraham that. He didn't tell Abraham to sit down and let his neighbors across the street or across town or from a foreign country to sell him all the necessities of life while he sit down and suck up everything that others stick before him. God told him to get up and do something for yourself. Boy, get up. He didn't tell David nor Solomon to just sit down and let somebody else build the temple. He didn't tell Adam, but he told Adam to go to work. He told David to go to work. He told Abraham to go to work. He told man and all of mankind to get up and go to work for yourself and bring something into existence that was not here before, as I did before you, because I am your example. given you a perfect example. I made you from nothing. So you vow to make something for your children, your family, and coming generations. The devil, my brothers and sisters in Valdosta, the devil and all of his leaders and his followers and his imps and his potentates, they don't want you to hear the truth that we speak. They want to keep you deaf. Lay members, listen to me. They want to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind to the times. Young people in Valdosta, you out of school today? Ask your mom and your daddy this morning that if all other self-loving people can create businesses for themselves, can create jobs for their children, and patronize each other, young children, listen to me, ask your bishop, ask your pastors, ask your ministers, ask your city councilmen, county commissioners, ask them, why can't we as a people do what other people do for themselves and their children? Young people, I am depending on you to ask your parents, why can't we create businesses? You see new businesses come up in this town every day. But why aren't the preachers encouraging all those lay members who got beautiful talents and gifts and business and degrees, get up and do something for themselves and stop blaming the white man? I don't come on this broadcast to blame white people for our own ignorance, and I'm not going to apologize. I'm about to apologize. But we as a people got to get up and do something for ourselves. Young people, get real. Don't you possess that old slave-like mentality that is barely to come from somebody else. Young people, you got to create businesses for yourselves, and I will never back down from any bishop, pastor, potentate, wish for W, that, or DD dog. Until next time, this is your little brother standing on truth, because heaven and earth will pass away. But I will never walk backwards for no one. Bye-bye. We gone.
Singles, while there, ask for the copies of the CWOD and Economic Power Pack broadcasts. That's the new Mind Material and Fashions, the Cultural Shock Shop, at 605.5 East Hill Avenue.
For the next 5 minutes, you'll be listening to the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast with Brother RHYNES. This broadcast will air Monday through Friday from 8 to 8:05 a.m. in the morning. And now, here's Brother RHYNES with the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast.
Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Community Economic Power Pack broadcast. This morning, brothers and sisters, we want to go direct into the message. Brothers and sisters, you know, I don't quite understand it, but then again, I guess I do. Someone came to me and said, Brother RHYNES, the preacher's talking about you down in the pastures. Therefore, I think I need to address that. Brothers and sisters, I want to say to you, to all openly, to lay members, the ones of you who come to me and talk to me, it seems to be very little opposition between what I speak and your belief. So we thank you for the support that you give me. You know, Jesus told the preachers of wickedness, that was the first man that I ever see through the scriptures to criticize the preachers. The first thing Jesus did was criticize the wicked preachers. There was a wicked preacher that came to Jesus, said, if you be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. And that was a preacher of wickedness. And Jesus dealt with him. He said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. That's what Jesus fought him with. My grandmother told me, too, that man shall not live by bread alone. So she told me, young man, get your job and go to work. And I received that message into my mind. Brothers and sisters, today, I don't know whether we should call them punk preachers or what. I don't know, brothers and sisters, but I'm going to say this, and if I make you mad, I'm sorry about that, and because this needs to be said. When I look on TV, I see preachers, many of them, and I guess I'm going to do some more criticizing this morning. They don't see the unemployment in the African-American community, but they talk about Jesus. They don't see the crime that in our community, but they keep on talking about Jesus. Many people don't see that everybody is creating businesses and jobs for their people, Caucasian, Koreans, everybody is creating jobs that they may get our monies and our dollars, but we keep on talking about Jesus, and Jesus is more worthy than anything that man can produce on the planet. TV preachers, it seems like we're in two worlds. The preachers, we don't see the crime and the small percentage of black elected officials, and the preachers on TV can't see that we have, even here in Valdosta, 66 for the students in the Valdosta school system is black, but we only have less than 9% of the educators are black. But preachers, I mean, that don't concern the common preacher today. We just want to, you know. But I come to tell you, brothers and sisters, that even this percentage of teachers, and I'm not ashamed of this, and by the way, brothers and sisters, I'm not a hard man to find the challenge here in Valdosta or discuss the issues with. So there's no need of getting up in front of a lot of people to criticize me. Come the way I am. I'm not running away from you, brothers and sisters. I love you, and if I love you, I'm going to give you the truth, just like I try to give everybody, and I don't try to deviate from the truth just because you are who you are. I do like Jesus, I try to do. Jesus didn't beat around the bush. Jesus went straight to the core, and that's what I want to do, brothers and sisters. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to say to you that I sat back and I watched the Congressional Black Caucus, and all those people that they were talking, they mentioned the name of Jesus, and they talked about the Bible. Eva Clayton, the representative from North Carolina, a female, was talking about us as a people. She was not ashamed to do it. I'm talking about up there in the high seat of Congress. Charles Ranger, a representative from New York, he's a man, standing up for some of the same principles that your little brother is doing here in Valdosta. Cleo Fields, a Democrat from Louisiana, a male, speaking the same message. Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat from Texas, female. Maxine Waters, Democrat, California. John Conyers, a Democrat from Michigan. Harold Ford, Democrat, Tennessee. Bobby Scott, Virginia, Democrat. Jesse Jackson Jr., Democrat from Illinois. Carrie Meek, from Democrat, from Florida. Oh, see what we need to do as a people. So brothers, come on with you, come on, get down with you, get down. This is not a Brother Ryan thing, this is a truth thing. And brothers and sisters, we had another leader in our community who was, I think he was labeled among the top 20 leaders in this nation. And he talked about the bloodsuckers of the poor. And brothers and sisters, you have to agree with me in truth, if you want the truth, brothers and sisters, is that we must learn how to do. And that's why I don't have to get on here and pray over the radio. I don't see where I have to before a broadcast come on. I pray at home or I pray on my way here. So these little 5 minutes that I'm paying for or barely can get money for, I'm talking to something that will get our children in the brain. Because too long, brothers and sisters, too long we have not done this. And a lot of people say, Brother Ryan, even on Sunday morning, you be out there talking about how to make $1. Well, brothers and sisters, because we don't have dollars, that's what making our children holler. But this brother came to me, and I don't care. You don't have to love me, radio friends. Preachers and pastors, I don't care. I mean, really, I really don't. You can just criticize. I can take anything you put on me. It didn't start here. 1981, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, San Antonio, Texas. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been taking it before political leaders and before the government for speaking the truth to my people. It don't bother me what you say about me, brother, and I don't hide. You know where to find me. So if you got something to say to me, you don't have to, brother, get up before 100 people. Just come on and talk to me. Because if I got something, I'm going to come to you. But if we can sit back and keep on talking and jabbing about white people don't do this and white people, a lot of people get scared. They don't want me to even say that word, white folks. A lot of white people, Caucasian people who love Jesus, they tell me about it. They know what we got to do to help each other. Yes, sir, brother, they know too. But it seems like we just scared. But I want to say this to you. I'm going to leave this with you. My time is up. I want to leave this with you, brothers and sisters. Lay members, members of the churches, always remember this. God did not give you the spirit of fear. Do you hear what I say about Austin? God did not give you the spirit of fear. And if some leader, I don't care who he is, brothers and sisters, you might just need to stand up and let people know how you feel. Because from what I hear from you, you agree with the content of my message. And brothers and sisters, until next time, I just want to say to all of you, I talk like I do because I love you. And it's not just me. Listen to the Congress. Listen to the Congressional Black Caucus, and you will see what's going on. It's the same cotton picking thing because we all tied together as one. Until next time, we out of here. Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Community Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brain with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven, somewhere up in the sky by and by, to enjoy some of the finer things of this life, proud of reaching the great beyond. If we would only patronize each other in business and do what all other self-loving people have done and are doing. Brothers and sisters, this morning we want to talk briefly about how long will we make excuses. Now, the reason I use that subject is because somebody came to me and said, Brother Rynes, you're always making excuses. We got to stop making excuses. Everything is on a level playing field now. All we have to do is get up and go to work and do for ourselves. Part of that is correct, but let me give you a little bit more information this morning, okay? Brothers and sisters, we as a people, and you got to keep going back to the history, because if you forget your history, then you don't know where you're going. That's why I like to go back and get the history. Why do you think they gave us an Old Testament and a New Testament? Because you need the history to find out where you come from, because if you don't know where you come from, then you surely don't know where you're going. And in fact, when you get there, you don't know what to do when you get there. Okay. From the year 1619 to 1865, that's 246 years. We as a people, now this is not a hate thing, this is a love thing. It is not a black or white thing, it's a right thing. It's not a lying thing, but it's the truth thing. We were denied the laws to organize. By the slave laws, we was not able to have organization among our people. We were denied the right to own property. We was denied the right to testify in court. Yet the Constitution stood there as a symbol of a free society. Okay, so those two things. Number one, we were denied the right to organize. We was denied the right to demand justice. All right? It's 246 years. Denied the right to defend self. That means the man could not defend his own family. We were denied that right to defend ourselves. Denied the right to read and write. Couldn't read and not permitted to write. However, we did have drums to beat to send signals, and we was even denied the right to beat a drum. Education, we were denied to educate our mind. We were denied the right to conduct religious services. Listen, brothers and sisters, we were denied the right to conduct religious services unless a white person was present. Therefore, all these things we were denied for 446 years. Denied the right to possess a firearm, couldn't carry a weapon to even protect ourselves from a lion. Denied the right to beat the drum we brought from the motherland. Brothers and sisters, we must look back. For over 400 years, we was conditioned to think and act according to these strange and foreign set of laws as far as God is concerned. And today, those laws are no longer enforced physically, but the mental enforcement or the reinforcement keeps us separated and fragmented among ourselves. Now, brothers and sisters, in order for us to become economically independent and then interdependent within the world community, we must do exactly, listen, brothers, we must do exactly what the slave laws kept us from doing in the beginning. Now that's our dilemma. That's our dilemma. And we got to be able to possess this truth within the head and beat our drums and communicate this to our children so they will get up out of the mud. Brothers and sisters, now just go back. Let me do a little small synopsis here. Okay, if they didn't want us to organize today, 1997, what we got to do? We got to organize. If we could not own property, so our major priority should be owning property. Since we could not testify in court, we should try to get on every jury we can. Since we were denied the right to defend ourselves, we need to defend our children and our wives as well, and our rights. Okay, since we could not read and write, we need to go into the schools of learning, education, and get that education. We were not able to buy and sell goods, therefore we should get our own businesses. Check that. 450 years, denied the right to sell goods. So in our mind, we don't think that we can get up and create businesses. You who are in these churches, Your pastor may not tell you, and I'm not down to pastor, but if you got that gift in you to sew, you're a seamstress, get up and do it for yourself. Many of you are working for big industries. Go out and start sewing. You can take that needle and thread and do it. You can do it for yourself because God has given you that talent, and let's get rid of this old slave-like mentality. Conduct religious services, stay around the church. So if we've been denied to possess firearms, ain't nothing wrong with having your couple of guns around the house, kill them, old snakes might come in the back door. And we could not beat a drum. Get your drum and let your children beat to the tune of truth and justice for all people. Brothers and sisters, we got to back out of here. But I want you to know that I don't get on here to make excuses. I get on here to make the mind sharper, because when you got a sharp mind, maybe you'll stick that sharp instrument into the brain of your children, and they'll look sharper in the community and walk as priests and kings after the order of Melchizedek. Until next time, this is your little brother saying, bye-bye, we gone. Power to the people. Now pass it on. And listeners, and welcome to another Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brains with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven so up in the sky by and by to enjoy some of the finer things of this life. Brothers and sisters, we want to say to you, first of all, that's this Friday at Oak Grove Baptist Church, First Oak Grove Baptist Church in Clydeville, the Bryant Gospel Singers will be having their anniversary. That's Friday and Saturday night. And Saturday night, it'll be at Welcome Hope in Bonnie, Georgia, and Sunday night, First Oak Grove at 2:30 in Clydeville. We're asking you to go out and patronize this gospel group. What you mean patronize, brother? Go out and support them, help to buy instruments, whatever they need. That's what they use it for. A good brother, beautiful brothers and sisters. That's the Bryant Gospel Singers. That's Friday night at 7:30 in Clydeville. There will be Clydeville, and then Saturday, Welcome Hope at 7:30 in Bonnie, Georgia, and Sunday, First Oak Grove at 2:30 in Clydeville again. Brothers and sisters, we want to say to you that I want to thank those brothers who are in the correctional institutions who have written in to me concerning different matters. We will be getting a response to you soon. Brothers and sisters, we want to say to you, you have in this community old-fashioned barbecue. And we're asking you to go by and patronize Pitt's Barbecue. That's 1715 West Savannah Avenue. And tell Brother Pitts that you heard about him on the Economic Power Pack broadcast. You also have the Seafood Station. That's 1409 North Lee Street. Tell Brother Norwood that you heard about him on this station and on the Power Pack broadcast. Also, Frank Allen Carpet. Frank Allen Carpet, 836 West Gordon Street here in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. And I thank that brother for sponsoring this program without question. He's been doing it for a good while, and we appreciate what he's doing, trying to get the truth out into the minds of our people. Also, we want to say to you, brothers and sisters, as you go around in Valdosta, we're asking you to look around and you'll see that there are more African American people that's going into business, and that's great, but it's not quite good enough. We as a people must learn how to go in to African American businesses sharp, as we have been doing for so long with other people. The African American, the black merchants, if you will, they sometimes already have 3 strikes against them. One of them is we have not learned how to patronize our own people as other people have done. And the second thing is sometimes because they may not have the money to get large quantities of items, they may have to be a little higher, but when it all boils down, you can't lose when you do for your own. And this is not a hate thing, this is a love thing. We're trying to get a new mind in people's head. And with the help of the formation of the NAACP in this community and with new leadership, we hope that we can make a difference in this city. We cannot just sit back, brothers and sisters, and expect someone else to do everything for us. And there are people who are in the majority who wants us to get up and do something for ourselves. And you may ask the question, why do you always harp on that? I'll harp on it because I love you. If I did not love you, I would sit back and play dead. But I cannot do that. And we have in this community a brother who is willing to put himself out there and go to bat as the leader right now of the NAACP. And we need your participation. And you can stop or call WJEM. We had a good turnout Saturday night, and people joined the NAACP, but we still want more people to join and come aboard. Many of you have told me that you're going to join. Well, the words is easy, but we need the numbers. We need the numbers because we want to get this thing on the road. We want to go and see what we can do for our children in this community. Many of you will say, well, where is all the black men? Why aren't they standing up? Well, sometimes we're not standing up because we can't get the support from other men in the community. You know the teachings of Jesus, and Jesus said this. Jesus said, in unity there is strength. So why don't you come aboard, brothers and sisters? If you don't want to drive all the way out to WJM to join the NAACP, then stop by New Mind Material and Fashion at 605 and a half East Hill Avenue. He'll be there this morning, and he's taking them applications. It costs $10, and with the clients, $25. But stop by, brothers and sisters. Let Valdosta be a voice in the South. We cannot sit back, brothers and sisters, and expect someone from New York to do something for it. It's time for Valdosta and the citizenry and the AKA or whatever the sororities and fraternities are. Let us all come together as one. And NAACP, not just for black folk, it's for white folk too. And I want that out in the community because, let me back out of here, our time is up, brothers and sisters. But we just want to leave you this morning by saying, we love you. And I thank this radio station for allowing me to say that over there. Until next time, this is your little brother saying, bye-bye, we gone, power to the people, now pass it up.
Brother Rhymes with the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast.
Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Community Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brains with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven somewhere up in the sky by and by to enjoy some of the final things of this life. Proud to reach the great beyond. Brothers and sisters, we want to say to you this morning, if we just want to enlighten the minds of some of the people in this area. I started with the CWOD broadcast in 1989. And since that time, I've had three solid sponsors. We had Shepherd Construction Company, we had Frank Allen Carpet, and we had Valerie Thomas Bryan. We was on another radio station, but we've been over here for quite a while. I don't know exactly how long we've been over here. But I'd like to say to you that we appreciate those sponsors. And that's a total of about 8 years that we've been in this community. We got here in '89, and the latter part of that year we came on radio to try to give something to the community that will be uplifting for our people and the community in general. But I just want to say that I don't receive much from individuals or from my broadcast. Sometimes some people, Brother Joe Willis, you give me something every now and then. But sometimes, but the people in the community don't give me that much. I appreciate it. I had a brother from Lakeland, Georgia, come by and help me a little bit. But I want to say to you, the local businesses, a lot of people come and tell me, say, Brother Ryan, the way you talk about local businesses and trying to get African Americans to spend money with their own businesses, with their own people, that the business people ought to come and help you because it's just the right thing to do. But no, I don't receive much from the local businesses, but that does not matter with me. I've been, like I said, just a total of 8 years. And I'm not concerned about whether the businesses help me or not. That's beyond me. Many of you have made me promises that you're going to come and help me with this broadcast, but you don't never show up. But I'm still committed to doing what I'm doing. I want to say this, though, at this junction. I must say this. Valerie Thomas Bryan and Frank Allen Carpet is two people in this community that I have great respect for, not because they sponsor this program, but because of other things that I noticed, things that they're doing. And in the Valdosta Times this morning on page 2B, you'll see headlines with Valerie Thomas Bryant, and the Valdosta Chapter of Business and Professional Women USA is sponsoring the Young Careers Program today at 6 p.m. at Morrison Cafeteria in the mall. And I believe that from what I've seen and the way the sister, and by the way, she came out of a practice and now she's out on her own, you know, she's out on her own, and she's a female. And again, I commend Valerie because of the fact that, you know, for her to embrace a broadcast such as this, and Frank Allen, who sometimes my message is not always a soft message, it's not always mushy, but it's the truth. And so I thank her, being a female, not a male. You know, sometimes we look for men to, in the community to come and stand beside someone who are trying to be a voice for the destitute and the downtrodden. But many times, you know, it's the female. And, you know, the same way in the church, really. You know, and people down the female and the women, but, you know, I just thank Valerie for being on her level and coming to embrace this broadcast. You know, the strange thing about it is that I didn't come to Valerie. Valerie and her husband, Darryl, they came to me because of the content of our broadcast. And so I just want to say to you, and I think that Valerie Thomas Bryant and her husband is to be commended in this community. And who am I to say who's to be commended? Well, like I told you before, I'm nothing but dust. I never put myself on a pedestal because God took me from dust, as according in the book of Genesis. And if my beginning was in dust, and Job declares from ashes to dust, so my ending is nothing but dust either. So if my beginning is dust and my ending is dust, then what am I now but dust? So I can't brag and boast about who I am, but I can brag and talk about the people who I believe are trying to make a difference in this community. Not only that, but Valerie had the courage enough to go out on her own, and now she's located, I think it's 509 Patterson Street. And so we're asking you, if you need an attorney, workman compensation, or whatever it may be, to go by Valerie Thomas Bryant and tell her that your little Power Pack man sent you, okay? Tell her that. Many times when people sponsor the broadcasts and programs, the same way on TV sometimes, that's why many broadcasts, they can't stay on the radio and TV because those who will come and speak truth to you, we won't support them. We'll tell them, well, you're doing a great job, Brother Shedrick. You're doing a great job, Brother Shumpert. You're doing a great job, Brother Allen, but you go somewhere else and get ready to spend your dollars. But anyway, we're not downing anyone. We just want you to know that we love you. And above all, I want to say to you, to all of the business in this area, I wish that your business triple in sales. And if it is because of this broadcast, I'll say as the Muslims say, Alhamdulillah, which means all praises due to God. I am not worthy to even drink the water that comes from the underground water table. I'm not worthy of that. But because of a good God in the universe, he allows us to do that. And so Valerie Thomas Bryant, again, I don't know if I'll be out today, but I'm hoping that we can get out there at 6 o'clock at the Morrison Cafeteria. Brothers and sisters, our time is up, but I just wanted to give that little plug where I could for Valerie Thomas Bryant and those people who have chose over the years to sponsor this broadcast. And thank
And now, here's Brother Rhymes with the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast.
Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brain with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven, so I've been this guy by and by to enjoy some of the finer things of this life prior to reaching the great beyond. We thank God for being here this morning. We thank God for all of our radio listeners. This morning, brothers and sisters, we're going to do a general talk. We want to talk about the rent is due. Brothers and sisters, from the days of old in the country, we all, not all of us, some of us, used to work on the plantations. Some of us used to live on our own land. Many of us used to go to school. Now, a lot of you all can identify with what I'm saying here. We couldn't go to school because someone would tell us, well, you got to chop cotton today. You got to do this, you got to do that. You got to pick those peas, so you can't go to school this morning. Because you lived on someone else's place, you had to do exactly what they said. Now, if you all think that's incorrect, come by and talk to me and my sisters and brothers and all those that came up in the area which I was reared. And so we never rented, well, not us, but some of the people in our community, they didn't rent their houses. They didn't have to pay anything on it. They just lived on this farm that belonged to someone else. Now, brothers and sisters, I just want to say to you that the rent is due. Many of you today are renting the home that you're living in. And some of you have been renting for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You will never pay for that house. That means you will never have anything to pass on to your children. And I'm not, and you know, renting is great for some people. But if you get where you can afford it, go out and purchase you a home. Now, what does that mean in dollars and cents? That means you're going to have something that you can call your own. And then you may say, well, Brother Ryan, get back to the Bible. Well, you know, the Bible says drink waters out of thine own well and running waters. You see, so God himself wants you to own something, not just rent all the time. Now, people say, Brother Ryan, don't you have a rental house? Well, I might, but the point is that even the one that's staying there or anywhere, don't rent long term. If you can do better, do better. You might want to go to Shumpert. You might want to go to somewhere else to check it out and see. If you pay $400 to $75 for rent, you probably can afford a house. And when you get that house paid for, don't have to get it paid for. You can try, after 10 years, you got equity building the house. Pass that on to your children. What does that mean? That means when your children grow up, they feel better about themselves and they're more independent. Therefore, when someone comes and tells them to look here, you do this, you do that, boy, you know, I'm not exaggerating, but think about it. He can sit back to, well, at least I got a home. Now, if you got enough equity in it, you might want to be able to, look, turn that around and get some money on that home. So what is that doing? That giving your child a sense of pride. And not only that, it helping him for the future, preparing him for the future, and giving him information in the head that will help him. So what are you saying, Brother Ryan? I just want to leave this with you this morning. If you are renting and been renting long term, I think it is so sad. And when you look at the statistics I was reading the other day, we as a people, we are the ones who rent, but we never own. It's okay to live in an apartment for a while, but not the rest of your life, and have your children there. Your children grow up thinking, I'm supposed to live in the projects the rest of my life. Brothers and sisters, it is time for us to get a new mind. And it don't matter whether you're a Christian.
And now, here's Brother Rhymes with the Community Economic Power Pack broadcast.
Greetings, radio friends and listeners, and welcome to another Economic Power Pack broadcast. Packing your brains with tools you can use. You don't have to wait until you get to heaven, brothers and sisters, to enjoy some of the finer things of this life. If the mayor can drive a new car, and it's okay. If the preacher can drive a Lexus and everything is okay, or a BMW, then why not you? This morning our subject will be the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Brothers and sisters, I just want to say to you this morning that Jesus was not sent to everybody. Not at the beginning. He said, I come to the lost sheep of Israel. Brothers and sisters, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Brothers and sisters, when sheep becomes lost, that sheep was not paying attention to what was going on around him. He allowed something to get his attention. And when the sheep looked up, they noticed that they are alone. No one is with them. The master is gone. His family is gone. Because he held his head down just a little too long. Brothers and sisters, all the other sheep are making progress. They are unified, certified, satisfied, and energized because they are in unity with each other. And your Jesus said, this is the Jesus you say you believe in. He said in unity, there is strength. In the days of old, brothers and sisters, America had a Bible. They knew about Jesus, and they knew what Jesus said. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Men and women knew that if they loved their children, that their neighbor also loved their children. So they should have wanted for their neighbor that which they had and wanted for themselves. We know, and we can see how all other people are continuously, repeatedly, consistently, vigorously creating new businesses. But we see our people struggling. We are, should I say, the lost sheep in the mind in our community. They just turn away and go further down into the wilderness. Yes, there's a shepherd in our community providing printing service, Norman Printing. Printing Plus, you know that down Ashton Street, you passed it many times. Churches, you know, you have your stuff, you know, there's a shepherd right there. But we bypass him because we are the lost sheep. And brothers and sisters, we are lost. Believers in God have great abilities. Many of you know that God has blessed you with talents and gifts. Many of you are cooks, masterful cooks. You could be masterful caterers in this community. God have told you to open your daycare, open it up in your home and get those lights and do what you can. Home care, night care, just care. Care. We are a caring people. But because we never get to use our talents, we return them back to the grave. We return them back to the Mother Earth. Because no one tells us, or very few of us tell the masses of the people, even in our congregation. Tell those lay members and encourage those children. You have gifts. You are a poet. You can write. You have the ability to speak and articulate. Then get up and use it. And once we begin to encourage our people, when you see that man in business, it should make you feel proud to go by Norman Printing. How long has Valdosta existed? And there was no black printing presses operating by an African American unless he was working for someone else. So we should be energized and our minds should be mesmerized when we see Brother Copeland and Brother Hoggebrook and Valerie Thomas Bryan and those vigorously work in our community, and Naylor Pest Control and Shumpert Construction Company and New Mine Material and WJEM and all of these people who are out there. We used to didn't have that in the community. But today God has blessed us. Many of us caught hell to set up these businesses. Excuse that word hell, but that's where we all go on without repentance. But we bypass them just because. You got Valentine's Day coming up. What are you going to do about it? Right here, this sister got just the fine advances that you're going to find anywhere on the planet. But we are as a lost sheep, brothers and sisters. We are lost and we need to wake up and begin grazing in the grass. We need to graze in the grass of creating the soft drink industry. We need to start grazing in the grass and get toiletry items, department store, groceries, electronic department, hardware, restaurants, and etc. Brothers and sisters, I just want to say to you, if we do not do it for ourselves, it will not be done. Preachers, I want you to go to heaven too. I want you preachers to go to heaven. I want the pastors, the bishops, the ushers, I want all of us to go to heaven. But I also want you to go down and do some business with Norman Printing. I also want you to do some advertising out in the WJEM. Brothers and sisters, the preachers of yesteryear, I'm closing, my brother. I'm closing. I just want to say to you, those old preachers of yesterday, they took the helm. They went to the helm of the NAACP. They took leadership. They took charge. They didn't just sit back and holler, hallelujah, and I'm not down because that means all praises due to God. Just like the Muslims say. I'm going to close out. Let me leave this with you. The old preacher didn't have a degree in theology, but they had a degree in neology, and therefore they had a degree that was beautiful for thee. Until next time, brothers and sisters, we want to say to you, pledge us to the vote. Let's not be a lost sheep. Bye-bye. We go. Power to the people, now pass it on.